So this is my current setup here with the score script. There's an integer that gets increased each button click, and there's also a method for setting the score directly, and both of them call the update UI method here on the text. So the save load script here is currently blank. There's these two methods though that are linked to the button just for have everything ready. I'm going to first create the reference to the score script since that has the current data. So the first method I'm going to show real quick is the PlayerPrefs. This can come in handy certain times. So I'm going to have a set integer method here. The key will be a score, and then the value will be the score script dot score. And then for the load, I'm going to have the integer for score come from the PlayerPref get integer, and then I want the key, as score, and then the default value will be 0. And then the score script will have that method for me to set score and then pass in the score. And that should update the UI as well. Go back to Unity, and I'm going to link the reference. So I'm going to drag my player that has a score script. I'm going to increase the value. We got 11 here. I'm going to save. I'm going to hit the load method in the second run, and we can see 11 is right there. Perfect. So this is the other method to save the data. Also my preferred way of doing most of the time. So we have a class called JSONUtility, and this will create a JSON string from our object. So in this case, we can pass our score script, but this might give us field we might not want to save. We could pass score, but unfortunately JSONUtility does not like primitive data. So integer, in this case, we cannot pass that. So what we'll do is create a class, or in my case, I'll just create a struct that will wrap the data that we want. So this will just contain an integer for now, for score. So inside of the save method, I'm going to create a new instance of that save data. So let's create that. And then the save data.score would be assigned to the score from here. And now we can actually return a string JSON data from this method of toJSON. And this would want the save data. Now with this data, we're going to save it to a file. So the first thing is we're going to create a path. So let's create a string path. And then we'll call in file, which comes from system.io, the namespace system.io. And then inside of this, we have, actually not file, we have a path that also comes from that namespace. And then we'll combine two paths here. So we'll do application.persistent data path, and then we'll do a file name, and we can just do even .json, it doesn't matter. And now we can do a file.writeAllText and pass in the path and then our JSON data. Great. So let's check if that works. Go ahead and increase this. So we have number 9. We're going to hit save. We're going to check our folder. So inside of our folder, we can see we have our file and the score number 9. Great. So now let's actually load that data back. So same thing, we need the path. And just for safety measures, we'll actually check if file does not exist. So the exclamation mark means not. So if file does not exist at the path, then we'll just return out of this function. But if we do have it, then let's read our data. So let's do file.readAllText, and this will be our path. And this returns a string, so let's return our data string. And now let's create the objects from this. So from that, we'll do a save data equals JSONUtility dot from JSON, and then the type in here will be save data, and then the path and the data string will be our data string from here. And then we'll simply assign the score script set score to save data.score. Save that, compile. And if everything went correctly, we should be able to load, and we should see 9. Click load, and there's our number 9. So everything is working perfectly. If you want to watch more and see more complex data, check out the next video and hit a like, subscribe, and all that. Peace.